Alright, hello everyone. We are setting up for hole number 6 of the Earth Day Tournament Expert Division. And I'm trying to think of what that is real quick. Is it par 4, 3, 5? 5. It's par 5. In Masters it was downwind. We're going to set up as if it is downwind. We are also going to, just for precautionary measures, make sure that we have full backspin clubs on our bag. Might be the only time that you want to switch over to machete here. You can see power isn't necessarily your friend or ball guide, but backspin is. So if your Amazon isn't quite developed enough, which, really it isn't, at a 4. You can see accuracy still at 35. The whole bullseye looks like basically the size of the green. So, might not be the best idea to use Amazon until that accuracy gets its next bump, which I do believe is a 5. But putting on machete here will give you that, just in case you have a safety net, in case you drive it into the rough. I'm assuming we might get downwind here. So you see that I'm just setting up for downwind, and we'll just revert as necessary. Now, if we are going to play more of a normal shot on this hole, I usually go about doing that with playing the right fairway and hopping it over to the second fairway. But if we are downwind, which it looks like we are full throttle downwind, so in Masters, I remember we had enough wind that we didn't need this. So there's enough wind. So this is going to be perfect for your globes if you pick those up. This is going to be yet another hole. So hole 1 and hole 6 now. These are two very good. As a backup, a snowman ball is going to be a good second option. Titan is going to get you just a little bit on the short side. It may or may not be enough, so I don't know whether to tell you whether or not to do it or not. It could be a risky shot, and I did not want to hit that great ball right because I know I was getting a little aggressive to the right side, and there you see it did go into the rough. But I have no issues with driving it there. I did want to show you what happens when you pull out machete for this. So not the end of the world. I knew I was getting aggressive. I was not going for a great ball at all. If you watch my Masters guide, the same kind of thing applied. I knew I was kind of getting aggressive with my aim. Because when you curl it, especially 100% curl, 100 curl, it is going to land very right of that target line, and you always need to account for that. And I did account for it, but I knew it was very, very close. I knew I was going to be very close to that rough edge. I was trying to great ball left, I great ball right, and that's enough to, cause me to put myself out of this hole. You want to avoid topspin a little bit. I do recommend going to that last fairway as opposed to what that guy just did, just to kind of give you that extra. And here you're seeing we are a little bit on the shorter side, but you can see that machete is going to be a little bit more useful if you're able to make that first bounce on the fairway, and then if you get caught in between those two surfaces, that's when machete is going to be a little bit more useful. I don't think this is going to be the end of the world. We're going to try to just still play the backstop. Just a little bit of power here, as you can see, and there you see perfect ball. Let's see if this is the end of the world. We are getting the backstop. There it is, and you see it just shoots back right at the hole. So that's kind of the beauty of machete. It's not going to take you out of albatross. The more critical thing is hopefully you hit the fairway on your first hop. And like I said, I knew my aim was aggressive. towards the weekend rounds, and everything all in all, I'm going to stay a little bit less aggressive on the first hop, and maybe just try to crank the right spin up for the have that extra side spin boost, get it over to the right, keep it away from the creek. And if you're going for that fairway that you saw me going for, which I do highly recommend, especially if you want to give yourself the optimal eagle chance, you will be able to do it this way. But as you can see, especially with a little bit of that side wind, it's not going to be the easiest of albatrosses that way. So going at it to the next fairway is going to be kind of the way to go, in my opinion. So hopefully, you guys can find some use to this happy mistake that I made here. I did want to, I'm glad that I was able to hit this in the rough, just so you could see just kind of, the effects of what that does. And as you can see, if you put machete on, it's going to still be a very manageable hole. Especially if you get that first hop on the fairway foremost, and even if you overhook it, slice it back to the right, just keep it away from the water. Don't use much topspin, as you're not going to need it. The ball is naturally going to kind of shoot down. The more topspin you put, the harder it is going to be to keep it out of the water and get it back to the right like you see me doing. And that's why you see me curling it the way that I'm doing, and just kind of keeping it away from the water. If you do want to see me successfully pull off that shot, pull up my master video. Not much of my technique is changing. So since the wind is farther in intensity, I can hit virtually the same shot, and being one tee box back, not a lot is changing with the land zones, because you have 4 or 5 miles per hour extra wind. So that 4 or 5 extra miles per hour wind gives you at least 10, 12 yards carry, which is almost as much as the next master box. So keep that in mind, and good luck with that hole. There is going to be quite a few albatrosses on it, so hopefully you guys are able to get it. And I'll see you guys for hole number 7 here, setting up momentarily.